3 years ago, my poor grandchild was almost roasted to death because of my wife's memory problems. It all started out so innocently. She was burning cookies, forgetting her keys, forgetting a name now and then. I didn't expect her to suddenly get full-blown Alzheimer's. I realized something was terribly wrong when she forgot our 2-year-old grandchild, Liam, in the boiling hot car at 120 degrees during one of the worst Texas heat waves that hit the state in the past 100 years, almost roasting him to death. Not only that, her memory became so bad, she started having some real difficulty remembering my name or the names of anyone in the family after that. I cried like a child when it happened, but it was that precise moment that led me to uncover why we lose our memories, why a real solution to memory loss was never found until 2019. Hint, scientists were looking in the wrong places, and how we can stop our minds from degenerating, declining, and succumbing to memory diseases. And if all that sounds crazy, I completely get it. But after reviewing thousands of scientific studies, I'll share some of those studies during this presentation, and receiving tens of thousands of thank you calls and emails from folks whose minds were saved by watching this presentation, I can tell you right now, as a scientific fact, memory loss doesn't happen because of genetics, age, or a bad lifestyle. Instead, recent breakthrough studies from reputable institutions such as Harvard Medical School, University of Buffalo, University of Leeds, and many more have proven beyond a shadow of doubt that all memory problems are caused by this one common bacteria in your body. A bacteria once thought to be harmless is now proven to be the leading cause of memory loss. It may sound like science fiction, but it's true. This bacteria uses your body as its personal feeding ground and nests for years inside your body and brain cells before feeding on them. These top medical institutes are finally starting to admit the threat is real. It has already infected more than 2.5 million Americans. People born before the 1960s are the most vulnerable. Perhaps the scariest thing is that its symptoms come on slowly. You may never realize your poor memory, headaches, or low energy is caused by this strange bacteria hiding in your brain until it finally takes over, wrecks your brain, and forces you to seek medical attention. Fortunately, there is a simple morning breath test you can do to find out if you're infected, and if so, how to get rid of it before it causes full-blown Alzheimer's, as in the case of my wife. And once you know how to get rid of it, you'll be able to live your life to the fullest while making sure you'll never need anyone to babysit you. You as you live out your golden years in an old people home instead of your own. In the next 5 minutes, I will show you the undeniable scientific truth. Why are there people with perfect memory well into their 90s while others experience forgetfulness in their 40s? The real root cause of memory loss, how a common bacteria will decide whether you'll lose your memories at 40 or at 60 years. The simple breath test you can do tomorrow morning in order to see if you're at risk or not. The 2019 buried Harvard study that showed the real root cause of memory loss and why nobody dares to talk about it. And the simple 30-second method that can bulletproof your brain cells against the memory-devouring bacteria. So if you started forgetting your keys, wallet, grocery list, or even why you walk into a room, pay careful attention. Whatever your doctor tells you, senior moments are not normal, no matter what your age. So please, keep listening, because this information could save your life or the life of your loved ones. Just imagine what it would feel like to enjoy a clear, sharp mind well into your 80s or 90s. Imagine not having to end up in an assisted living home because you've become a danger to yourself and a burden to your family. Imagine doing all of the things you took for granted when you were young with amazing ease. Imagine being able to travel the world no matter your age. Imagine helping your kids and grandkids out and being the pillar of your family to whom they turn to for advice and guidance. All of these and even more are guaranteed in exchange for just 5 minutes of your time. My name is Carl Henderson, and I'm a professor of psychology living in Austin, Texas. 3 years ago, my wife Lisa experienced a terrible senior moment at the age of 64. She was arrested when she forgot our 2-year-old grandchild, Liam, in the boiling hot car. Liam was there for 2 hours at 120 degrees during one of the worst Texas heat waves that hit the state in the past 100 years. I remembered standing next to his hospital bed and praying for his life. As I watched him lying there in a coma with the whole family there in tears, another news hit me like a full-speed bus. Lisa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Your wife has an advanced form of Alzheimer's. Were you aware of that? The doctor asked. No, she's been forgetful, but no one diagnosed it. Make an appointment for her to be thoroughly checked out as soon as possible, he said. In the meantime, she can't be left alone until she's properly medicated, if ever again. I was floored. I started crying when I thought about how she would be unable to hold conversations or bathe herself. That she would continue to get worse until she stopped having any lucid moments at all. And that she would probably require 24-hour care at a nursing home before she finally passed away from the hideous disease. And with Liam, despite a close call with death, Liam made it out alive. But still it tormented me with fear to this day that he may be scarred for life. While Lisa, my wife, couldn't live with herself, she was constantly overwhelmed with guilt. She kept refusing to be alone with Liam out of fear that she may hurt him somehow. I feel unworthy of the word grandmother, Carl. I don't deserve to live for what I did, she told me one night while crying hysterically. I felt useless. I felt that I should tell her it would get better with time, but I knew better than anyone that time was not her friend. She'd only get worse. The once cheerful and chirpy wife turned into a gloomy and depressed shadow of herself. I hired a full-time nanny to make sure she was safe during the times I was not there. But Lisa stopped being involved with Liam altogether. She'd just sleep all day and would barely find motivation to even shower. She took all the medications prescribed, 7 expensive pills to be exact, such as Aricept and Razodine, but aside from giving her regular nausea and crazy diarrhea, things didn't seem to be improving. When I sleep, I know I can't hurt anyone, she told me weeks later through a curtain of tears rolling off her once blushing cheeks. One day, Lisa came down the stairs with a wad of papers and dumped them into my lap. I've contacted the lawyer. This is my will. I want to be put in a home when I no longer know your names. I want to be cremated once I'm dead. Her words tore my soul apart. We were supposed to have at least 40 more years together. I'm going to weigh you down, Carl. You know that. That night I realized that there was no way I was going to wait for a medical breakthrough to make my wife better. I needed to create one myself, or could no longer call myself a man and father again. I didn't care that the doctor said there was no real solution for Alzheimer's. I wasn't going to let it happen. So, after tossing and turning in my bed all night, I spoke with my university and took an extended leave of absence. I went to the bank to take out a mortgage on our small house and a small business loan to fuel my own research efforts. I knew I had to do it. I knew that a solution for my wife will not come from the big pharmaceutical industry. Think about it. It takes at least 12 years for a drug to be approved by the FDA. Who cares about the patient? I then began spending every single moment of every day poring over Alzheimer's research. I just knew there had to be some solution to stop this madness, and I was going to be the one who found it. I mean, I was a psychology professor with a PhD, for goodness sake, and brains were my business. What I needed to do was look at scientific facts and evidence, get a good understanding of exactly how Alzheimer's works, and then start considering every single alternative or outside-the-box solution possible. So I became a student again, studying professional opinion, scientific journals, medical publications, university archives, and health libraries as though I'd never seen them before. I flew to top medical conferences around the world, talking to world-renowned doctors and brain experts. At first, everything I learned was pretty discouraging. I learned that while there were tons of information out there about memory loss, the medical community was still completely unsure how to treat Alzheimer's. But then I made a wild discovery, one that can send the entire medical industry on fire. Ask yourself, why are there people with perfect memory well into their 90s, while others experience forgetfulness in their 40s? Now, you probably heard the name Alzheimer's being thrown around everywhere, or you may have even unfortunately witnessed how a loved one suffered from it. But do you know where the name Alzheimer's comes from? Over 100 years ago, the German psychiatrist Alois Alzheimer published his observations on a former patient named August Dieter. August had what we now call Alzheimer's disease. You will see in just a few minutes how her case helped me uncover why memory loss appears in the first place. I'll spare you my months of continuous struggle and take you directly to the one study that changed everything we knew about memory loss. A study which most doctors would have never heard of. You see, memory loss does not start in the brain, as every brain doctor would claim. It starts somewhere else, in your gums. A 2019 buried Harvard study confirmed this unexpected conclusion. Until recently, the entire medical community believed that there is a gene that is present in certain people that can trigger the development of the disease, the APOE gene that basically devours your brain proteins. But that made me wonder, what triggers the gene in the first place? Why are there people with perfect memory well into their 90s, while others experience forgetfulness in their 40s? What scientists hadn't figured out was why this happens only to some people, and why some people with no family history of this disease can still get it. I mean, my wife's parents were still completely independent and lucid despite being in their late 70s. So by that train of thought, she shouldn't have gotten such an aggressive reaction in the first place. But there it was, in plain sight. A cutting-edge new study published by the researchers at Harvard University that proved all memory impairment diseases are linked to an infection in your gums caused by a bacteria called P. gingivalis. The bacteria produces toxins called gingipains that are found to accumulate in the brain of these patients. The gingipains inflame the brain tissue, which in turn creates plaque, which obstructs the communication paths between our brain cells. That completely explained my wife's case, because she often had horrible toothaches. But was it true for every single case? That's when I went back to Alois Alzheimer's patients' files and sifted through them to see if any observations were made about her teeth. And there it was. August Dieter had acute plaque and 5 missing teeth. I felt confident that my presumptions were correct, but I had to go deeper. That's when, after 2 more weeks of digging, I stumbled upon a very interesting study led by scientists at NYU College of Dentistry and NYU Langone Medical Center of cognitively normal, healthy, community-residing elderly men and women, average age 61. In this study, the investigators showed for the first time in humans a link between periodontal disease and the accumulation of plaques in the brain. The scientists said periodontal disease was associated with plaque buildup in the same areas of the brain similar to those of patients with memory impairment. Our results suggest that periodontal inflammation infection may increase the risk for brain amyloid deposition. I started consulting other top doctors I met regarding these studies. We all agreed that the gene is just a byproduct, a marker that confirms the likelihood of having memory issues, but it doesn't trigger them. It may sound strange when you first hear about it. A bacteria on the teeth causing memory loss? Actually, it makes a lot of sense. Why? Because each one of your teeth is connected to your brain through tiny nerves. The infection can travel from the tooth to the nose, to the eyes, and ultimately to the brain, causing it to swell up and produce more sticky plaque. This makes your thinking processes slower and makes it harder for your brain cells to retrieve memories. And the worst part is, no matter what your dentist tells you, not even the deepest cleaning treatments can reach and destroy these bacteria that are tirelessly lurking inside your mouth, even when your teeth seem fine. I'll tell you why in a minute. However, do you want to know a sure way that the bacteria is already in your system? Do this 3-second test first thing tomorrow morning when you wake up. Raise your hand to your nose and take a sniff. If you have bad breath, then the bacteria is clearly there, lurking, waiting, and ready to damage your brain cells. If you often get a metallic taste in your mouth as soon as you wake up, then you should take action immediately, because that means the bacteria is already affecting the nerves and making its way to your brain. But now, you may think, oh, but Carl, I go to the dentist for deep cleaning every 6 months. Here's the kicker. According to a study conducted by the University of Michigan, there are 20 billion bacteria in your mouth. These bacteria reproduce every 5 hours. If you go 24 hours without cleaning your teeth, and I'm going to show you the most efficient way to clean your teeth inside this presentation, those 20 billion become 100 billion. No dental or medical method can destroy the gum-eating bacteria. I know that hurts to hear, especially when you shill out hundreds of dollars for dental cleanings every few months. This is not something you're going to hear from your dentist because they have no interest in you knowing this. Normally, doctors recommend brushing your teeth at least twice a day, flossing or going through dental scaling procedures to get rid of the bacteria and tartar. And here's where it all goes wrong. No matter how well you clean your teeth, at least 10% of the bacteria will remain hidden inside the gum pockets. And there's a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. If this bacteria was so powerful and dangerous, was there anything that could banish it? In the end, this could happen to anybody, our spouses, our parents, and grandparents. I couldn't risk seeing the love of my life become an empty shell who would forget when and if she needs to go to the toilet, and eventually forget basic functions like chewing her food. I could not afford to let anyone take this away from me. So after working alone as a wolf, I realized I needed someone who would understand and be there at least to help me figure out how to go from here on out. So I decided to make some phone calls. In the end, I kept hearing one name, Dr. Jack Lane. You see, Dr. Jack was well known in his field because he set up the basis of good oral hygiene in half of the third world countries with his NGO. And what drew me to him was the fact that he accomplished that without expensive equipment, without expensive medicine. Dr. Jack did it all through God's green bounty, plants. I explained my situation to him, and he agreed to work with me on this. You see, Dr. Jack's grandmother died from a horrible memory loss disease, which caused her in her final days to even forget how to pee and how to swallow her food. Slowly, through a 3-day period, she died a shameful death that marked him. Enough to know that when we met, it was probably fate giving him a chance to avenge his grandmother's dreadful death. But there's one thing we've missed so far. What do we do about the root cause? Of course, even if you take the brain nutrients, the problem's still there. Your mouth is still harboring the dangerous criminal burrowed deep in your gums and nerves. So I needed something that I could disinfect the teeth and slow down the multiplication rate of the bacteria. So for phase 1, I knew that the first step was to eradicate the bacteria. That's when Dr. Jack suggested Huperzine. You see, according to one 2005 study, Huperzine provides an antibacterial action on the surface of your brain. In this clinical study, Huperzine destroyed microbes and bacteria much like your hand sanitizer coats and protects your hands. So, not only is Huperzine important for killing the dangerous dental bacteria that travel to your brain, but it's also important for coating the brain in a bacterial-proof vest. Not only that, but several clinical studies have revealed this herb can stabilize your cognitive function at any age due to better communication between neurotransmitters. Studies have also shown the nourishment from this herb can reduce inflation in a matter of minutes. Now remember, micro-inflammatory responses are probably already present in your gums. Also, if you are already starting to experience forgetfulness, even as simple as forgetting where you left your keys, your brain is already inflamed and secreting the plaque that will lead to worse symptoms in just a matter of months. Moreover, in one study, Huperzine also increased dopamine levels by 129%. In the brain, dopamine functions as a neurotransmitter, a chemical released by your nerve cells to send signals to other nerve cells. In another study, a group of patients struggling with memory decline took a dose of Huperzine twice a day over an 8-week period. The results showed that 58% of all subjects had less memory, fatigue, healthy cognitive performance, and improved mood. Step 2, repair the wounded brain cells. Well, remember back to your mid-20s when your mind was as sharp as a tack? Back when you could stay up all night, partying and having a good time, then make it work on time and do your job without getting fired, even though you were dead tired? Why can't you do that nowadays anymore? Well, because as we age, our brain blood flow gets weaker. And as more and more plaque builds up, so does the mental fog. Vinpocetine opens up your brain's blood vessels, pumping your head full of oxygen and sparking nerve cells back to life. This new blood flow also flushes out cerebral toxins and helps your neurons fire faster, so starting faster, your memory recall processes. In one study, participants at the University of Leeds in England used Vinpocetine and experienced less memory fatigue and improved reaction times in a matter of days. Step 3. Bulletproof the entire brain and gums against the bacteria. And that's when I stumbled upon an interesting study published in 2014 in China on the effects of ginkgo biloba on gum disease. 60 patients with moderate to severe periodontitis were selected and split up in a control group and a group who received ginkgo. They were periodically swabbed for a bacterial test, and the results were absolutely insane. Ginkgo significantly decreased the detection rate of periodontal disease pathogens in just 1 week after treatment. By now, it should be glaringly obvious that if you want to preserve and recondition your remaining neurons and brain cells, it makes sense to protect them with the crucial nutrients it needs that you can't get through a normal diet. My question to you is this: do you want a sharp, responsive mind or a dull, sluggish brain that eventually gives up completely? I think you already know the answer, and you're beginning to see how these three ingredients can start to make a difference in your life. You see, in the past few minutes, I've demonstrated to you how one hidden bacteria can completely destroy the precious memories you hold so dear. How one tiny intruder can rob you of your independence and dignity. And why no matter how well you brush and floss, no matter how good your dentist is, you will never get to it, and it will continue to mock you as it makes its way up to your brain. And I presented three all-natural ingredients that can increase cerebral brain flow, reduce age-related cognitive decline, and boost energy in your brain. Problem is, it's nearly impossible to get them from diet alone. And your body isn't producing enough of them itself, which is why your mind has slowed in the first place. That's why I'd love to introduce you to the fastest, safest, most effective way to recharge your brain, get your life back, and protect your mind and gums long term. We're calling this formula ProMind Complex. Premium formula designed to clear your brain of the plaque-forming bacteria and protect your mind against debilitating dental nerve bacteria that climbs up to your brain and triggers plaque formation. Imagine if recharging your brain was as easy as fueling your car at the gas station. With ProMind Complex, you can feel your brain come to life without the jitters that things like coffee, energy drinks, or those hyped-up 4-hour energy shots give you. It's designed to activate and energize sleepy, sluggish brain cells to make you feel alert and mentally sharp. It was also designed to freshen up your memory and wash away those embarrassing, forgetful moments, like losing your train of thought in the middle of a conversation and becoming a joke to those around you because you always tell the same old story again. To help you achieve that, along with faster learning, less mental fatigue, more creativity, brighter moods, and an entirely new level of concentration and focus, we've created an all-star lineup of brain-stimulating elements. For starters, we added a precise amount of the all-natural nutrients I mentioned a few minutes ago. So already, ProMind Complex is supporting your ability to stop forgetting names and faces every single time you meet someone new. Age gracefully. Have a clear and sharp mind consistently. Tell fascinating stories in explicit detail and reminisce about the good old days with your friends and family, without the embarrassment of forgetting details or repeating yourself so much that they doze off in boredom. And finally, replacing worry and fear with a satisfying peace of mind, no longer worrying about your independence or depending on your loved ones to take care of you. I can guarantee you that one right decision in the next few minutes will save you years of struggle by not being put in a home or assisted living, begging and hoping that someone will come to visit you. Plus, in addition to these wonderful mental health benefits, we've also added several more brain-boosting herbs we think you're going to love. In fact, when I began formulating ProMind Complex, I wanted to make sure it supported your brain health in every possible way, from every possible angle. That's why, along with the perfect dosage of huperzine A, ginkgo biloba leaf, and vinpocetine, we've also added 4 more mind-clearing ingredients to support and enhance the results you'll experience. Like phosphatidylserine, St. John's wort, Bacopa monnieri, and N-acetylene L-carnitine. So for phase 2, we added step 1, fire up your brain cell communication with phosphatidylserine. This ingredient is a stepping stone ingredient which is absolutely crucial for a healthy brain cell membrane. Without it, imagine having a house without walls. Lack of phosphatidylserine leads to the exposure and death of otherwise healthy brain cells. So if you started forgetting even the smallest details or misplacing your keys or wallet, your brain is thirsty for this cell-renewing nutrient. Step 2. Scrape off the hardened plaque better than a professional cleanup crew with St. John's wort. We already discussed how your brain produces plaque as a response to the bacterial attack. Well, if you want your thoughts to flow just like they did in your 20s, then a spring cleaning is more than welcomed. That's what we pursued with St. John's wort. This super nutrient will scrape off the hardened plaque on your brain, allowing the blood to flow and brain cell communication to be safely reestablished. Without it, active nutrients would never be able to reach all the infection nests in your brain because the plaque gives the bacteria a safe haven from them. Step 3. Ward off anxiety and depression. Bacopa monnieri, another botanical wonder which your brain loves, will regulate your happy chemicals so you'll enjoy a less stressful life and help you keep the memory you have. Treatment with B. monnieri for 90 days in 107 participants in Swinburne University, Australia, led to an improved performance in a structural working remembrance task, while also being able to lower stress over a 10-week period. That's what ProMind Complex can do for you, and it's the reason why we also added. Step 4. Get rid of brain fog and insomnia and increase your energy levels with N-acetylene L-carnitine. Without it, even your memories will be restored. You will not have the quick recollection you're missing. It makes your stiffened neurotransmitters limber and more responsive, while at the same time fighting off negative feelings like stress, worry, frustration, or sadness. One 2018 Polish study showed that ALC helped reduce mental fatigue and increase physical activity in patients ranging from 40 to 65 years old. As you can see, we're making sure your brain has everything it needs to function more like it did in your 20s and 30s. Because while aging is normal, memory decline definitely is not. With this formula, you'll be protecting yourself against age-related memory decline by giving your brain the nutrition it needs. Soon, you'll start noticing how much faster and more efficient you're becoming at mental tasks you once found a challenge, as a result of integrating ProMind Complex into your daily life. And a nice plus of the formula that has been reported by every person who has taken the product is that your self-confidence and independence will grow with each passing day. The effect of ProMind Complex on your lethargic, tired mind will be like splashing ice-cold water on your face in the morning. In fact, I'm willing to bet ProMind Complex can help you reclaim the lost territory in your brain. Nothing compares with sitting down and solving a hard crossword puzzle start to finish without fumbling around and flipping back and forth to the answer section. Or being able to tell a breathtaking story and have your friends' undivided attention because of how beautifully you describe every vivid detail. That's the feeling I want you to experience. And you can get started right away. With ProMind Complex, you can clear up the build-up plaque and strengthen your nerves in order to protect your brain in the long run. So here's what I can promise it can do for you. In just 3 short weeks from now, you will have a razor-sharp memory that will help you be the life of the party. Imagine not having to be the one who's always left out of the conversations because you feel your mind is too sluggish to contribute anything. Imagine keeping up with your grandkids with no effort and telling them the best stories in the world. Instead, your brain will be thirsty to learn new skills like a dry sponge submerged in water. You will soak in precious information and remember them for years as if they only happened yesterday. How would you feel if you went on a vacation to Italy or France and picked up the language in just 2 short weeks before your trips? How good would you feel if you could impress the guide with your own neatly memorized historical facts as you take tours to the Colosseum in Rome or the Louvre in Paris? This is not fiction, but a reality of thousands and thousands of people who live out the golden years unapologetically. Imagine being able to remember old memories as if you were flipping the pages of your photo album. Or how amazing it would be to remember faces and names without wrecking your brain trying to recall where you know them from. Imagine not having to ask your kids for help with balancing your checkbook. In a nutshell, what I can promise with ProMind Complex is that you can be more creative, think faster, listen better, respond to situations lightning fast, and concentrate with deeper focus than you did when you were studying for your SATs back in high school. Go from forgetting where you left your keys or your purse to being able to write your family memoirs. Tell stories to your friends and family in detail so vivid, they'll think they were there with you. And if that weren't enough, the nutrients from ProMind Complex will also better fuel your brain to help you. Prevent embarrassing senior moments so you can keep your confidence and your sanity. Dismantle negative feelings and anxiety that keep you from achieving your goals. Easily go from a chronic gloomy mood to feeling optimistic on a consistent basis by increasing healthy production of your feel-good hormones in your brain. If you've tried other formulas that have let you down in the past or have cost you an arm and a leg for cheap filler ingredients that only left you with very little or no results at all, you're going to be in for a nice treat with ProMind Complex. We've gone out of the way to hunt down hard-to-access suppliers who only deliver ingredients that produce results you can see and feel. I mean, this formula saved my wife, so you better bet I added only the best ingredients with science-backed credentials. Plus, we've secured large quantities of these rare herbs to ensure our manufacturing supply is uninterrupted, so you're always getting the right dose and quantity of every single ingredient. With our formulation, you'll feel confident in the health of your brain as you age. We've also taken it one step further. For starters, ProMind Complex is vegan-friendly, gluten-free, non-GMO, and follows today's highest quality standard of modern manufacturing. We selected a top-ranked manufacturing facility with all the certifications that ensure compliance in good manufacturing processes. This level of commitment proves without doubt that we take you and your health seriously. We also source our raw materials mindfully. Unlike most vitamin companies, we personally visit a supplier's facility and build rock-solid relationships before we trust them to make our products. We don't skimp on quality control either. Each batch of ProMind Complex goes through a checklist of purity tests to absolutely ensure you're getting the best product, period. And if we do find a problem, we'll dispose of the entire batch and start over from scratch. So you can rest assured that before you receive a bottle of ProMind Complex, every ingredient has been carefully analyzed by Fourier Transform infrared spectroscopy, an expensive process that guaranteed to prove the ingredient we print on the label is what's inside. After all those quality checks, we still test each ingredient for potential traces of microbiomes, pathogens, pesticides, and preservatives. Finally, with each batch, we take samples from a random number of bottles to ensure every capsule has the exact dose we promise you. As you can see, we go above and beyond what a normal company would ever think about doing, both in terms of time spent and money invested in quality control. I've been in the medical world long enough to know what's good for you and what not. and I could never have put my name on something that is subpar. Best part is, we're helping you save a bundle of money too. For example, normally you'd have to fork over $100 a month if you purchase these nutrients individually. Look for yourself. For a bottle of Huperzine, one of the biggest supplement companies charges $27. A high-quality bottle of vinpocetine on the nation's biggest mass retailer's website runs for $42.40. And a bottle of N-acetylene L-carnitine will cost $32.80 in a drugstore. These are just 3 of our 8 ingredients, and if you just purchase those separately, you'd be looking at a whopping $102.20 per month, and you'd still need the other ingredients. Plus, swallowing 8 pills every day would make you feel like a foie gras duck who's been force-fed every day. But I'm not going to charge you $199, even though for prime quality source of these ingredients, that's still a steal. Nor $99, which would be around the price of the generic price of subpar products. And I'm not even going to force you to swallow 8 pills per day like you would if you bought each ingredient separately. Because if you're over the age of 40, you probably already struggle to chug down multiple pills every day, and I don't want to overload you with yet another handful. So rather than have you pay hundreds of dollars a month, which is still a bargain for renewed energy, mind-boosting cognitive performance, mental alertness, and the other dozen benefits we discussed today, including better mental clarity and ability to learn new tasks at a rapid pace, I would ask you to pay just $69 a bottle. That's a 30-day supply of ProMind Complex, which works out at $2.30 per day. I'm asking you to pay loose change for a mental armor. But that's not all. Because we have gotten so many great feedbacks from people who have used it for 6 months to a year, who have told us how much their mind has sharpened, how much more empowered they feel. I've also prepared amazing discount packages only on this page for 3 and 6 month supplies, which will bring down the dose per day to $1.63. That's like the cost of a bottled water for a completely new life. Due to Dr. Jack's exclusive connections with our suppliers and the fact that we buy from them in bulk, we're able to negotiate incredible discounts you can't find anywhere else. But before you click the Buy Now button, I want you to know, if for any reason you don't think it's worth its weight in gold, we'll gladly refund your order, no questions asked. To be honest and open, you should know that nothing works for everyone. Not every person that goes on a diet loses weight. Not every person who takes an aspirin gets rid of their headache. Not even the pills your doctor prescribes will work in every single case. But here's the difference. We're so confident that ProMind Complex will work for you that if it doesn't, we insist on giving all your money back. We want you to be delighted with the value you're getting for your money. So if you're one of the unlucky few that doesn't find their body responding as they'd hoped for, we've got your back. You'll be fully covered by our 60-day, 100% money-back empty bottle guarantee. Even if all your bottles are empty, if you're not happy, we'll refund you 100%. That's the way we like it. In fact, we sleep better at night knowing that you're taken care of. So take your time. With our newly enhanced ProMind Complex formula, you'll feel your mental fog melt lift as the fear of losing your independence. You won't fear becoming dependent on others. You'll stop worrying about decision making. You'll stop losing sleep fretting over an uncertain future. And if this sounds like a future you'd like to have, I'd like to remind you again to scroll below and click the option best fitting your current needs. Once you understand the importance of ProMind Complex in your life and click through to the next page, you'll find our easy and 100% secure order form waiting for you. After you enter your billing information and your order is complete, we'll immediately inform our fulfillment warehouse of your purchase. Then within 24 hours, they'll pack up and ship your package. It works just like clockwork. Remember, once you leave this page, I can't guarantee the next time you come across a chance to treat the aging effects crippling your mind, you'll find the same amount of quality of ingredients as those we've handpicked for ProMind Complex. In fact, I'm willing to put my reputation on the line because you won't find anything that comes close to offering you the same brain-enhancing benefits as you'll gain from ProMind Complex. That leaves you with one tiny dilemma. If you don't allow ProMind Complex to become part of your life today, there's a good chance our product won't be available next time. Between the threats we get from the big pharma giants and the scarcity of our pure ingredients, plus the fact that ProMind Complex is selling fast and it takes no less than 6 to 9 months to produce a new batch, I advise you to act right now, especially when you consider that just one dose of ProMind Complex has the potential to help you breeze through crossword puzzles and remember where you put your keys without any noticeable mental effort. But the longer you wait to disinfect your bacteria-ridden brain, the easier it is to fall into the trap of old age. Doesn't matter if you're 42, 57, or even 78 years old. You still deserve to enjoy life. This is your chance to make that decision. As a researcher, I know what overusing your brain feels like. But I'm here to tell you that with the proper nutrition, you can ask much more of it than you ever thought possible. I've seen men and women just like you go from forgetting why they've walked into a room to having the mental reflexes of a 20-year-old. So if you're ready to become as sharp as a tack and say goodbye to the mental blackouts, order your supply of ProMind Complex right now. Imagine enjoying a longer and a longer attention span, replacing worry and fear with peace of mind, less mental fatigue and better learning capabilities, increased focus, concentration, and clarity, replacing worry and fear with peace of mind. With ProMind Complex, you'll go from walking around in a cloud of mental fog to soaking up information like a dry sponge by disinfecting your brain from the evil bacteria that's been attacking it. And right now, poor mental focus and low energy might be forcing you down a path of dependency and humiliation. Be sure to click on the button below to get your hands on the formula that can make you feel like a mental powerhouse and assure a life of dignity no matter your age. Regardless of your decision, I truly hope you've enjoyed this report and appreciate me opening up the old wounds our life story held. Thanks again, and I hope to speak to you soon. In the end, I'll leave you with this heartwarming testimonial from George H., 79, from Florida. Prior to taking ProMind Complex, I and my wife were less and less alert. We both accepted the fact that we will be 80 in August, and that aging is causing our low energy and forgetfulness. I'm into vitamins and health foods, so when I read all the ingredients in ProMind Complex, I felt very sure they would be helpful in giving my brain the boost it needed. My aging brain needed that boost, and so did my energy level. Since I started using ProMind Complex, I'm thinking more clearly. My memory, which wasn't too bad, is better. I even went to the store and forgot my grocery list, but I found I didn't need it. I remembered everything. I knew that not even my 21-year-old grandson can do that. I felt empowered. Others should try it. You have nothing to lose, and it does give your brain a boost. Not only did it help my memory, but I had more energy also. I know my decaying teeth will not come back, and I'll not be spending my retirement funds on expensive dental care that will need redoing next year. I want to spend the rest of my days enjoying what I worked for and know I can do that confidently. Carl, thank you. Still here? I bet you have some questions. Here are the most common questions I've received from ProMind Complex and the answers to help you out. Can I get my money back if I'm not happy? Absolutely. We've made it as simple as possible for you to try ProMind Complex with no risk. If you're not happy for any reason, simply contact our customer support desk, tell them what happened, and they'll fulfill your request. Plus, you'll have a full 60 days to try it out and make sure it's for you. How do I take ProMind Complex? We suggest taking it right after breakfast or lunch so you can experience concentration and focus all day. It's important to take it after a meal on a full stomach so the nutrients can properly absorb into your body. All you need to do is swallow 2 small capsules once a day, and that's it. Each bottle comes with enough capsules for a 30-day supply. How long should I take it before seeing noticeable results? Most people begin to notice results fairly soon. However, those results will continue to get stronger the longer you take it. We suggest at least 60 days. This will give your body enough time to cycle all the nutrients through your system several times, allowing them time to coat your brain and protect it from the gum bacterial attack. Will it negatively interact with the medication I'm currently taking? None of the ingredients are known to have negative interactions with any medication. However, we recommend you consult your doctor. I've tried other brain supplements in the past which didn't work. How do I know this is different? We only work with the best, clinically tested ingredients available. Plus, no other formula comes close to matching the same quantity of brain-stimulating ingredients as we do. Plus, we never skimp on dosing. What you see on your label is exactly what you're getting. And if you're not satisfied with the results, you can always get your money back.